You and I sit down to play Melee for the first time. We plow through some menus, find ourselves in the character select screen, and you take your little white glove and circle thingy and place it over Fox McCloud, while I, the sudden antagonist of this story, pick Samus, and wave dash back down smash you every single neutral interaction. I'm not wave dash back down smashing you as a sign of disrespect or because I have a problem with you personally, it's just how I play Melee. Okay, same scenario back in time, you pick Fox, but in this dimension, I pick Captain Falcon. And I combo video the f out of you. The stock count is pretty similar to the Samus timeline, but you, still the protagonist of this story, will leave that CRT with a very different feeling after getting up air, knee raptor boosted, as opposed to my signature crouching Samus hidden tiger technique. This is the personality of Melee. Your goals in this game actively bleed through into every single interaction that takes place on the screen. Most people can immediately spot the difference between someone like IBDW and a local Fox player, but you can also probably spot the difference between my local Fox player and your local Fox player. A tournament set can have two very distinct in-game goals. The fact that you always go for up throw triple shy near the ledge, or your patented stomp in neutral technique, or your forever building drive to show the strength of Roy's down smash for absolutely no good reason. Whatever it is, how you play this game is different from how I play this game. Today we'll be talking about these different vibes of Melee, and specifically highlighting Melee personalities that turned into Melee's personality. No longer are these phrases just something that one group said when reflecting on a friend's gameplay. These are now globally recognized sayings in this community that will forever have someone's tag and legacy of a player attached to it. Real quick before we start, here's a bunch of words that just barely didn't make the cut. Shino Stall, Zoo Seat, the Johnny Jug, Sammy Nair, the Sammy Stall, the Sammy Coaching, the Sammy, where are you my Sammy, and all the other phrases that we brought up in our previous 10 iconic phrases or techniques used in SSBM video. Melee's phrases are truly endless, and who knows, maybe one day we'll find ourselves in a part 3. We couldn't really think of something funny to put here, but here's Allston Melee's 10 must-know SSBM phrases and techniques named after top players. Hit that stupid red subscribe button to physically send a shot of dopamine to my brain and help us hit that 10K subscriber mark. Hit the Allston Melee Patreon to continue to help us bring this channel to the next level. Big shouts out to anyone who purchased merchandise from the Bender. And number 10, the Mango. Winning the tournament while proceeding to make the entire crowd pop off and mini riot to the stage is the Mango. Short hop waveland back forward smash is the Mango. Being able to constantly compete for the best player in the world while playing both spacies is the Mango. Getting 4-stocked after bodying your previous opponents is the Mango. Getting DQ'd from your 10 AM doubles pools because you were getting wasted the night before is the Mango. Mango is one of the most lovable and charismatic personalities that Melee has, and there's a story for every up and down along this hero's journey. The Mango is essentially anything that Mango does. It could be the 467th time he's ever done it in tournament. It could be the wall jump bear to end the set at Genesis. It could be the first time he's ever played the claw machine at Dave & Buster's, but no matter what it is, it's the Mango. The phrase not only gives context to Mango's peaks, but also the lows that he can laugh at in reflection, and we applaud Mango for owning all parts of the Mango. For having a maxed out charisma stat and being able to tell any disparaging story with a Mango laugh at the end to make it funny, the Mango is always finding his way into an Allston Melee top 10 entry. Number 9, the Isaiah drop. After a tense friendly session filled with possible clips, your friend proceeds to pull off the most nasty technical shield drop ledge cancel into sticky walk back air or whatever, and your friend rightfully pops the fuck off. After a few ohs and somebody's getting they let out an oh so familiar hypothetical of I would literally body the people who played Melee in 07. After a few back and forths about shield dropping in the current state of Melee, you concede with the oh so common, guess we'll never know. But why guess when we at Allston Melee have concrete proof that you would get f***ing bodied by the top echelon of 2007 Melee with one word? Isaiah. don't get hits and supposed sandbagging aside, Isaiah was impressively technical in Melee's early days, to the point where it would take years and maybe even a full decade to fully discover the impact and ability that this man's had. The Isaiah drop was one of the first times that the strength of dropping through the platform was being utilized at the highest level, and while it is not the same method that we currently use to spam aerials from the side plat, it would take a decent chunk of time before anyone in grand finals was trying to accomplish this feat. While the Isaiah part of the phrase would be left behind as we transition into shield dropping, a more safe and consistent method in most scenarios, there was really a time where Isaiah was one of the only top players conscious of how powerful dropping through the platform was, as opposed to nowadays where it's almost a requirement for high-level melee. The Isaiah drop was far from one of the only impressive techniques that Isaiah was performing in Melee's early age, and thanks to a post compiled by Zelda Freak, here's a quick highlight of some more reasons why Isaiah would fucking body you in your shitty time machine in 2007. Number 8, wobbling. If you were born on October 28, 2006, you'd be 14 years old going into your freshman year of high school in 2021. You'd also be a Scorpio for all my Zodiac fans in the chat. But if you played Super Smash Bros. Melee on October 28, 2006, and happened to be in Northern California, you were probably at NorCal Tournament 2, the big one. Gathering a whopping 129 entrants and plenty of out-of-state competition, the impressive tournament in Melee's early age would be home to another routine King of Smash victory. But something that was out of the ordinary was an up-and-coming Ice Climbers player named Wobbles the Phoenix getting 9th place by mostly using a grab to forward tilt infinite pummel technique that at this point was still a rarity. While the technique had been known after being discovered from players in Japan, by the way, if you know a Japanese player discovered this technique, please let us know in the comments. Tried real hard and sent out DMs, but all signs pointed to ancient forum posts that were in full Japanese that we don't even know if we're actually on the subject. Anyway, whatever. While Chudat, the other top Ice Climbers player at the time, had been known to pull one off here or there, no one had really made this technique their full game plan. Yet. After seeing the up-and-coming Ices player using the almost foreign technique in 2006, Ken would coin the term wobbling, and that phrase has truly stuck with the scene since uttered from the King of Smash. 14 long years later, wobbling has a full backstory, and while the term wobbling may have a certain negative connotation to it, Wobbles himself has truly avoided any claims of being just a wobbler, with a career as legendary as his Punish game. Check out our 10 times the rules changed in Melee video for a more in-depth look at wobbling's history, but it seems in 2021 that wobbling may actually be banned from competitive play for good. Regardless if you're the biggest pro wobbler out there calling everyone else babies, or you're literally juggle guy and willing to hold big house ransom if we stray from the path, let's all pour out a single shot for never being able to see Mewtwo King ever get wobbled again. Number 7, the Sakurai combo. Good old Masahiro Sakurai. Some of us here on the Melee side have choice words for Mr. Smash Bros. Based on the shade that he's thrown whenever asked about the competitive community. Love him or hate him, the underdog's on top, and everyone no doubt respects our deadbeat dad to the highest degree for having a heavy hand in one of the best video games ever made. But while the question of how much did they know will forever be asked in reference to Melee, we have a cheeky way of acknowledging the man who made SSBM. A Sakurai combo can basically be applied to any combo that feels intentional by the developers. Stuff like Fox's up B or side B leading into up air, Captain Falcon's side Bing and then up Bing, a Falco shining and then hitting literally any aerial, and practically any combo strings that would have been accomplished when you were still an innocent, pure-hearted, stupid tiny baby. Not restricted to just Melee, one of the first instances of the Sakurai combo and possible origins of the name may have come from fans' reactions to the Smash Bros. Brawl Dojo post coming out before the third Smash title's release. This shit was tight! While some techniques or phrases on this list may only happen once or twice a set, or be restricted to certain characters, there's a good chance that a Sakurai combo will happen in most games of Melee that you play. For being Melee's tip of the hat to the big man upstairs, not like that one. If you ever happen to be on the sticks at a brawl setup, pick that big monkey and try to headbutt into giant punch your opponent for good old Sakurai. Number 6, the Armada Shine. When us simpletons switch off our floaty main to a fast faller, we get 3-stocked, sometimes by a low tier. When Armada switches off his floaty main, he becomes the best player in the world with 2 different characters and consistently hits an incredibly hard Fox Edgeguard to the point where it's fucking named after him. While the Armada Shine hasn't always been titled as such and has been featured in combo videos ever since Shine Blind in 06, this well-placed follow-up has been perfected and consistently implemented in grand finals across the globe thanks to Adam Armada Lindgren. Nowadays, the Armada Shine's impact is maintained through Uncle Punch's training mode, the top-of-the-line melee training tool. At any point, you can boot up some Armada Shine training and learn it in the easiest and most effective way possible. While Armada may be retired from competing in melee singles, he has contributed more to the scene than just one phrase. From top level to 0-2ers, this technique will live on for as long as Melee Fox does. For the legacy, the optimization of a character, and the storylines that the initial Peach main built, the Armada Shine is not only a part of one person's legacy, but cemented in every Fox main playing Melee. Number 5. Wait! I'm doing it. Did you know, Allston Melee viewer, that 41% of you have not hit our stupid red button? Come on, you're like a jillion hours into this. Look how easy it is. Boom, done before I finish a sentence. Look, now it's 42%. If you want to make it 43%, hit that button. It sends a little boost of serotonin into our brains. Ow. And if you already hit the button, bully your friends to do it. Number 5, the Scar Jump. Other techniques in this video are optimal. Sometimes helps you live longer. A phrase named in honor of the player who did it. Scar Jump is hard as shit but super swag, sometimes helps you die, and probably self-titled AF. Scar Jump is you just got owned last stock game 3. Scar Jump is the thing that makes your eyes widen and head shake. Scar Jump is kind of mean, because East Coast Scar was kind of mean. Scar Jump, or Scar Hop, who calls it that, is the technique of turning a regular old wall jump into a devastating combo option, only reserved on Yoshi's Story. By not using your double jump before wall jumping, or by hitting the C-stick with precise timing after wall jumping, you're able to act immediately to reach the depths of offstage, or just do infinite Tony Hawk skateboard tricks off the wall. With Bobby Scar's legendary combo video, I Killed Mufasa, gathering the eyes and ire of the divided community, the Scar Jump, while looking much easier in theory than it is in practice, would be on full display in 2008. Scar Jump is the definition of a signature move, and while the West Coast was quick to try and knock Scar down a few pegs, no one could stop the confidence of one of the most outspoken people in Melee. Scar would go on combo videoing pretty much anyone who doubted him, while adding a couple I Killed Mufasas to the catalog. Scar Jump is probably one of the most fitting techniques possible to describe Scar's legacy. Casuals look at it and think, I could do that. I want to do that. People who just started playing Melee look at it and think, how the fuck did he do that? I want to do that. And top players look at it and think, I'm gonna fucking ruin someone's day with this. But throughout every single hype moment that a Scar Jump produces, it does one thing above all else. Makes you want to play Melee. And in countless different ways, Scar makes us want to play Melee. Number 4,
the hack stash. Warning, the following technique should only be performed by professionals or under the supervision of professionals. Failure to adhere to these guidelines may lead to wrist braces, carpal tunnel, or even worse, switching to a floaty. Viewer discretion is advised.
The hack stash. One of the most optimal and hardest to perform on this list, this technique is also one of the most physically dangerous. Now you might be thinking, Mr. Allston, how could something in Melee be dangerous? First off, name's Patty, not Allston. Second off, the hack stash requires multiple frame perfect inputs in order to remain intangible for an incredible amount of time. And a little known fact about GameCube controllers is that they have secret arthritis deployers hidden behind the left control stick and B button designed to detonate your hands in 5 years' time. Nintendo conspiracies aside, the hack stash would be a certain teenager's claim to fame in 2009 as folks watched on, enamored with this Falcon's technical ability. Just 2 short years later, Hax would be a solid top 10 player known for pushing the boundaries of his character and this game alike. In part using the hack stash, a true marvel of what's possible in this game, to compete with some of the best players in the world. Suddenly, the hack stash beat Hax. after flawlessly switching from Douglas J. Falcon to Fox McCloud and continuing to push his new main's technical abilities, all those hack stashes and wave shines caught up to the hands. Following an apparent retirement and multiple wrist surgeries, Hax would bounce back with his own box controller as his support. Through thick and thin, Hax remains a staple of competitive Melee, and while the 20XX dream is still alive and well, Falcon's competitive peaks have never been higher, and people are still using and practicing the technique that once defined Hax as a player. Today, the Hack Stash is a standard tool that can help any top-level Falcon player edgeguard or get back from the ledge in the most technical and swag way possible. While Hax might have had choice words for the character, Falcon players have stuck true to honoring the legacy of one of the best ones to ever do it. Number 3, JV.
And with 3 stocks to 1, it's looking like Mango's gonna JV his round 1 pools opponent. You can already hear the crowd belligerent with JV, JV, JV. Now let's see if you can make it happen. But what is it, JV? What is any of this? Who are any of you? Wake up.
A JV stock has been name dropped in almost every commentary block out there, and plenty of Melee's most hype moments, and in every 4 stock crowd chant turned JV, possibly turned 3 stock and turned JV again, the phrase JV is cemented in Smash Brothers lingo. But not so ingrained into everyone's psyche is the origin story of the JV stock. Flame of Bowser 2 in 2004 was one of the first events in Midwest Melee history to feature players from multiple surrounding regions with representations from at least 6 different states meeting up in Indiana. Our story takes place with 2 players, one being a Melee legend, Kish Cubed, representing the premier Midwest Melee crew, Ship of Fools, and the people in charge of the actual tournament. We highly encourage you to go check out our 10 crews who changed SSBM's history after this one to take a deeper look into this crew and Kish Cube's legacy and the impact that they left on this scene. But opposite Kish Cubed, on a friendly setup before the tournament starts, we have JV 3x3. We'll save JV's full legacy and contributions to the Melee community for a future video, but just to put things in perspective, JV's TO accomplishments desperately deserve someone talking about him. But back on that setup at Flame of Bowser 2, after the first set of friendlies, JV beat Kish Cubed with 1 stock, 0%. JV would make a comment about how it's actually like a 2 stock win because he didn't take any damage. Kish Cube thought JV was coming off a bit too serious, like the guy who pops off after taking 1 game in friendlies, and just laughed him off, but remembered the interaction. Later in the day, JV and Kish Cube would find themselves back in a setup together, and after beating JV with 1 stock, 0%, Kish Cube triumphantly claimed, "Look, I JV 2 stocked him," and accidentally created a phrase that is still used today. While the term would remain an inside joke for Midwest Melee, after the phrase reached the King of Smash, Ken would frequently use and consistently attempt JV 5 stocks and so on. The term JV is so cemented into not just Melee, but Smash itself, as literally every platform fighter that has a stock count has used the term JV. While the story isn't as upfront as the phrase is, we'll let a commentary clip from JV himself finish out the entry.
And what's the origin of calling it a JV 4 stock?
It was kind of funny. I actually made it up at a Smash Fest, and we started making fun of someone when you got 4 stocked, but you only had 3, but you were at 0, so you still counted it. And it started doing it at tournaments, and people started saying it. Next thing you know, Ken's at FC, and I hear him yelling, "I just got a JV 4 stock." So it's definitely adopted a global meaning and something like No Johns, and it's just something that's evolved within the Smash community.
Number 2, Amsatek. Sometimes Melee is almost poetic, like jazz. Sometimes we have endless stories from the people who have entered this game for a decade. Sometimes it can feel like the world isn't so big of a place because of this global community tying us all together. And sometimes you do some wild shit with Brandon and Phil commentating and create a moment in Melee.
Amsa's just giving it to him, you know? Oh my, wow! What the fuck was that? Put some shit into it. What? Oh, what? What? Don't do it again. Do something else. Nigga, you stop cheating.
The OMS attack refers to SDIing or ASDIing down after being hit on stage, allowing you to immediately slam into the ground and get a tech off. In the last 5 years, the technique has gone from peak optimal melee that's almost task level to a standard of top level melee, and Sheik players nowadays are so ready and buffered to try and OMS attack away your big move to live a little longer. The OMS attack will forever be OMS's legacy in this game, but it's also a living expression that encourages you to dive deeper into the stories that makes this community amazing. While the ability to survive an extra hit will forever have OMS's tag titled before it, the naming of this technique is the least we can do in admiration of one of the most legendary players to ever grace the melee scene. A double stick thumbs up to OMSTA for helping us continuously highlight the unseen things in this game and showing us that this stock is not over until it's over. And our number 1 phrase or technique named after a top player, the Ken combo. Other games have real combos, like select training mode to practice your character's combo routes, or just open up the instruction manual to learn about your character, or literally as something as simple as the game tells you what works. But after 4 years of playing Melee competitively, as tournament goes and MLG circuits have come and gone, we learned something that is still so very true today. Melee is fucking hard, man. Melee is seriously one of the most mentally demanding and high-octane competitive games out there. Playing Fox at high level is like driving a fucking car at 110 miles an hour, trying to keep 2 fidget spinners going at the same time. Melee is hard. And when the King of Smash was dumpstering people for the first time with that oh-so-legendary 2-hit combo, it felt like it was coming out of a secret page on the Melee manual. While the Kenneth combination is something that almost feels dated in 2021 Melee, there is no doubt of the impact behind the King of Smash linking together Mars forward air down air combo so flawlessly. The Ken combo brought in an era of Melee that any viewer could understand and be interested by. The waves of people attending tournaments because they believed they could win slowly was turning into waves of people attending tournaments to see how good the best player in the world was. And that's because I can fucking show this combo to my mom and she'd be like,
awesome!
The Ken combo ushered in the optimization of Melee, the killing your opponent off of every opening, the fear of getting dunked because of your bad DI, the feeling of constantly being 1 hit away from death even at 13%, the Melee that a viewer wants to watch. The Ken combo is our assured number 1 phrase or technique named after a player, because the Ken combo is as Melee as Sakurai is. In 2021, we are more confident than ever that saying the people who have picked up a GameCube controller and entered a Melee tournament have defined this game competitively just as much as Nintendo. We can show you a character model doing things in-game, and your brain will immediately fill in the words and legacies of the people who popularized them. Melee is personal. A single game of Melee has more personality and dialogue than half of the conversations I have on a daily basis. You think the nice lady at Trader Joe's has more shit to say to me than the Falco player I found on Unranked who won't stop taunting and forward smashing me because I gimped them a single game? Your gameplay is your brand, and you can play this game however the hell you want to, but just as long as it's how you want to. There will always be someone out there who takes their frustrations of losing out on the way that you play Melee, but guess what? Fuck 'em. Play this game how you want to play it, and the legacy of the Kyle Shine or whatever, and the millions of screaming Twitch subs will come after. The people who have cemented their names and legacies into Melee storybooks will be far from the last tags jotted down, because there is so much more Melee to be played. This isn't Sakurai's game. This isn't Nintendo's game. This is your game of Super Smash Bros. Melee, and it is up to you what character or even game mode we select. If you want to hit adventure mode and pass off controllers, let's do it. If you want to master task break the target strats, I'm watching. If you want to grind till your hands feel numb and make $27 off of the most important victory of your life, I'm in the crowd screaming for you, just as long as it's what you want out of Melee. I can't hold your hand and make you play this game, but I can be there to sing your praises from the rooftops. Thank you for being a member of this community, and we encourage you to do whatever the hell you want with your copy of Super Smash Bros. Melee for the Nintendo GameCube.
Congratulations!
Hey guys, new comedic relief and corporate shill Michael Allen here. If you thoroughly enjoyed any part of the last 25 minutes, please hit that stupid subscribe button. It might do something to help us grow the channel or whatever, but truly, the only reason we exist as a channel at this point is to defeat our arch nemesis, the Melee Stats Podcast. So if you want to see us virtually beat up some nerds or with a subscriber number or whatever, hit that button, and maybe one day we can overcome our rivals. It's gonna take a while. They make pretty good videos. A huge thank you to the people scrolling on the screen and holding us down over on Patreon, harder than somebody who holds something down a lot.
Say she crouch cancel.
No, dude, that's so lame. I'm not saying. For holding us down on the Patreon, harder than a crouch canceling Chief player. Wow. YouTube paychecks can sometimes fluctuate at random between very pog and like 2 Gatorades or something. So Patreon really does help add a much needed bit of stability to the structure of Allston Melee. Thank you endlessly to everyone who's been supporting Allston Melee and helping us become so much more than a YouTube channel. It's good to be back. Peace. Sweet.